Okay, so dear listener, finally, right? Ah, well, okay, here we are. So Sansa II in A Storm of Swords. A chapter, on the surface, this chapter might be described as one of those, chapters where very little happens, a setup chapter, you might call it. Priming the reader for a payoff in a future passage, chapter. But okay, so for argument's sake, let's say that this is that sort of chapter. Nothing happens, just set up. But there's need of those kinds of chapters in a book because it's precisely the setup chapters that readers tend to go back to on a more informed reread, so they can go, okay, all right, so that's what all that stuff meant. See what you're doing, Georgie boy. So yeah, in fact, what's that? Yeah, my cat had to comment on that. Thank you very much for your contribution. I will have you know, dear listener, that this is in fact a chapter where nothing is placed by chance. Nothing, no detail from Sansa's flashback memory. Yeah, okay, I get that. All right. On the day when she because at some point she thinks back on the day when she bloomed. What's the word? Okay, when she had her first period. All right. Down to every single hesitation described here and question evading tactics from a certain character, from a seamstress who is currently measuring Sansa for a new gown, which is where the chapter opens. It's really, okay, it's cat day. Yeah, this episode will be punctuated by that. Oh, isn't that cute? Okay, so but just let me quickly recap for you, if you don't mind. Let's take a look at where Sansa is at currently, and I'm not just talking about her personal growth. How she's getting less and less naive, more and more cynical, which is an extraordinary character arc for any reader who's been paying attention. That I was saying, just to recap on where Sansa is in the grander plot, in the grander scheme. Here we go. Last we saw her, she was being groomed by the Tyrell, mainly by this matriarchal character, Lady Oleana. Do you know what I think I'm going to pronounce it like Russian, Ukrainian kind of. Oleana. Hello, Lady Oleana. Yeah? No? Something like that. No? Oleana. Girl, what you do to me? You're a blue-eyed mystery. There's my song recommendation for the day. Look it up, you'll enjoy it. It's the song by Toto. We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. So Lady Oleana. That's it. I'm going to pronounce it. Oleana. She was groomed. Sansa was being groomed by Lady Oleana to marry into the Tyrell Corporation. So basically groomed to become a bride. A groom having already been selected for her in the person of Marjorie's and Loras's eldest brother, Willis, who, from what we understand, is a mild-mannered bloke, well-educated and all, and he's got hawks he uses for hunting and whatnot. And the life sounds like potential fun with him. Although he's twice as old as Sansa, and he had one leg maimed by a horse falling on it at a tourney. Very common accident for highborn people, apparently. Horse fell on it. What are you gonna do? And a tourney, which that accident actually happened, funnily enough, well, perhaps not funny, haha, but it happened in a competition against Prince Oberyn Martell. Yeah, but for now, all that is just a footnote. No pun intended. The point here being that all of these machinations were carried out in secret. You know, these yeah, you'll marry Laura's, don't you worry. Sorry, Willas, don't you worry about that. Sansa, everything is being worked out. We've got it all planned out for you. These all of these schemes were carried out in secrets in the Red Keep Gardens, somewhere over supper, while Lady Olenna had taken some precautions to ensure the conversation couldn't be eavesdropped on and reported, because there are spies everywhere. So what kind of precautions? Well, she had ordered the Tyrell's resident jester, who goes by the name Butterbumps, to sing on top of his lungs for the entire exchange. Because, you see, dear listener, that conversation also included some confidential items, such as Sansa spilling the beans with regards to Joffrey's true psycho-sadistic nature, prompted by Olenna. Yeah. We're talking like third degree here. And at first Sansa was all like, oh no, Joffrey is really like a top-notch guy, real gentle, honestly, Prince Charming, really, he's quite the catch. I mean, do I need to say more? He's blonde, he's got pouty lips. George R. Martin has a thing against pouty lips. He warns us, beware of people with pouty lips. Doesn't Ramsay Snow also have pouty lips? He's just a top-notch guy. No, he's got pouty lips. He's blonde, blue-eyed. So really, Marjorie has hit the jackpot marrying him. Oh, well, it's my loss, I suppose. Oh, gee, la-di-da. But seeing that Olenna wasn't buying it, wasn't having any of that, no. And with the help of a few more prompts, lemon cakes, not to mention Butterbumps still singing his heart out, she eventually revealed the whole thing. You know what she said. He's a monster. He humiliated me. He had me beaten. Nothing makes him happier than inflicting pain on others. And it's funny how in the third degree, see, wine wasn't used, as a truth serum, in vino veritas. But no, because we keep coming back to this, that wine is not usually served to teenagers in this world, in this culture, as well as in ours, I like to think. And because we remember the Ned Stark's habit of allowing one cup to his kids on special occasions, so which is why John had as many cups as he wanted, because he sat in a secondary sort of not near the dais, but in down the hall. Him not being a legitimate son and all that. But I digest. Anyway, so actually, no. Joffrey did offer Sansa lots of wine on the day, that tragic day when he really revealed his true colors, didn't he? Or was that just in the HBO series when he said, "Oh, you can have as much wine as you want, because you'll be my lady, my queen, and you'll be allowed as much wine as you want, and anyone denying you will be skinned alive." I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that wasn't in the books. No, I honestly don't remember. So I don't know why I brought it up. So that previous Sansa POV chapter ended with Olenna reassuring Sansa, kind of like, yeah, no, now dear, oh dear, you'll be all right, girl. Don't you fret about a thing. We will whisk you away to Highgarden in secret. Say no more. You'll marry Willis. Not as good as Laura's, but better than a kick up the old arse. And Marjorie will marry Joffrey. But nothing to worry about, because Loras will stay here as a member of the Kingsguard. You see, we have it all planned out, which means that Joffrey won't ever dare raise a finger against Marjorie as long as her brother is around to protect her. Which really, honestly, dear listener, you tell me, does that sound like such a great plan? Really? Because Sansa is having her very pertinent doubts in this chapter. She's no longer the naive, prepubescent girl who left Winterfell a year or so ago, and she figures, okay, yeah, right, yeah, sure. Because if one day, out of the blue, Joffrey is displeased with the way Marjorie said, oh, what a lovely day, and on that strength, on that basis, he decides that it is time to have her stripped and beaten up by Sir Meryn Trant or one of those other lackeys. Yes, let me call them with their proper names. Knights, Kingsguards. Yeah, that's all right. But no, nothing to worry about. No. Because you know what? As long as Loras Tyrell is there to say, oh, no, don't you dare, then everything will be dandy. Everything will be hanky-dory. Really? See, the cogs are really spinning in Sansa's head. And she's thinking, yeah, if anything, I'll tell you what, if anything, under the circumstances I just described, given the loose cannon nature of both Joffrey and Loras, the most likely outcome would be Loras' head on a spike. Ha! And Marjorie and forced to look at it on a daily basis, between meals, like the doctor's orders, and she's thinking, I speak from personal experience, because that treatment was inflicted to me. You might all remember. So yeah, and she's thinking, what's the deal here? I mean, if I, a 13-year-old girl, see that, yeah, how is it possible that this grown-ass adult Lady Olenna, who's like, well, it's 200 years old, doesn't see such an obvious, 2 + 2 cause and effect kind of, what's that about? And you see, because given the limited information that Sansa has access to, her reasoning makes sense. In fact, given that a first-time reader would more or less have the same info as Sansa, no spoilers here, I think this is one of the points in the book where this hypothetical reader might totally agree with Sansa. Yeah, you got a point, girl. As opposed to the usual attitude that readers tend to have vis-a-vis Sansa, kind of like, oh dear, poor naive Sansa, you're adorable, how clueless you are. No, this time, no, I mean, we're with her. Yeah, what's going on here? See, because we're not in the position to be all smug to Sansa, because as first-time readers, we're also in the dark with regards to the Tyrell's end game and scheme, which of course has already been hatched, and the wheels are in motion, and have been for a while with the help of a certain Lord. Okay, I've said too much already. I know, sorry, I say it all the time, but I'll repeat it here. No spoilers from me here, yeah? In the off chance that you, dear listener, might happen to be that first-time reader, that hypothetical first-time reader. So this is my pledge to you, listener. In these rambling commentaries, I will only be looking back and not forward. So while Sansa is entertaining all these thoughts, she's been measured for a new gown by a very coy seamstress, and I keep coming back to that, I know. And by now she has internalized the lesson from King's Landing. Never trust anyone and don't accept gifts without a full body search, you know what I mean? She's kind of like Jack Torrance in The Shining. I'm the kind of a man who wants... Okay, no, I don't do a very good Jack Nicholson. I'm the kind of a man who wants to know who's buying their drinks, you know? Jeeves. That's more or less what he says, isn't it? In The Shining. And the seamstress just tells her, that's why this gown, why this gown has been commissioned and paid for by Queen Cersei, which really means by the taxpayer. I think you mean, dear lady. And you know, Queen Cersei, because she commissioned it because she wants you, Sansa, to look your best, like a proper. And she hesitates here. You see, she doesn't say what was she going to say? A proper what? Huh? But we readers assume that okay, so it must be for the wedding. Even though the wedding is, we're not clear on exactly how it's meant to. When it's scheduled, but it's probably not for another few weeks. I didn't go to no, for this one I forgot. Sorry, I forgot to check. What's his name? Alan Feldman's timeline. It's a document you can find online. Mr. Feldman, going by the name Feldman 10, I believe, on Reddit, and he's published the most precise timeline. If you want to fill in some gaps in the, what's happening and in what order, sequence, I recommend you check out this sort of like spreadsheet that he has online somewhere. Just type in the most precise timeline in existence. I think you'll find it. And so it's for the wedding. And the wedding is what? For another few weeks? It's not for another few weeks. But still, okay, it comes in handy. And it's partly the notion that the gown is for a wedding. That's correct. That's correct. And Sansa thinks, yes, okay, it comes in handy. Because my wardrobe was all ruined by the smoke. That day I casually set the mattress on fire, as you do, as everyone does, whenever they're faced with a decision, and they have to make this desperate attempt to hide all the evidence of their first period. No? Never done that? No? Okay. All right. So my wardrobe is now, stinks of smoke, which is, it gives it a nice flavor, whenever I'm in society, but, they all have the same smell. So good that I am getting a new gown. Yay! But she's still doubtful because she didn't expect Cersei to do a nice thing for her. In fact, at first, when she heard, this has been commissioned by the Queen, so be glad, be grateful. She thought that the Queen, her benefactor, was actually Marjorie, because in her eyes, the Tyrells are the only bunch of people who have actually been nice to her. That's what she thinks. And this, my dear listener, reveals two things to me and to you. that, well, first thing is, yes, okay, so she finds the notion of Cersei being nice to her unlikely. Even though, have you noticed that how she doesn't reminisce on creepy and cruel things that Cersei did to her? Like her killing her direwolf lady on that same fateful day when she was allowed as much wine as she wanted. Or how she never seemed to make any attempts, or how Cersei never seemed to make any attempts at restraining Joffrey. I mean, we are given a glimpse into her thoughts and memories, but she doesn't seem to reminisce on those things. I mean, I'm saying this because you take Arya, okay, different ages, granted, but Arya never, ever forgets a grudge. I mean, she practically goes to bed every night listing all the people she wants to exact revenge on. And if she was ever to confront, say, I don't know, the Hound off the top of my head, I don't know, I'm not saying that will ever happen, but if she was, the first thing she'd tell him would be, look, mate, listen up, yeah? You're gonna pay. You're gonna pay, mate, for killing my main friend, Micah, the butcher's son. Yeah, it was a tragic thing that happened there. So yeah, you're gonna pay, mate, when you least expect it. Sack. Sack being the sound of some guy's throat being slit. Yeah, but not Sansa. Sansa, you know, which kind of makes sense, I guess, because given that she's a captive there, really, in all but name, her father having been beheaded as a traitor, her brother still posing a threat to the crown, and in all likelihood having figured out that she might be next on the chopping block at the first wrong move. I mean, wouldn't you also try to let go of the past and try to focus on reading the present situation as best you could? I mean, you wouldn't go around issuing threats, is what I'm saying. Like, you wouldn't be going to Cersei and say, oh, by the way, Cersei, thank you for the gown, yeah? But, yeah, you're still going to pay, you know, wink, wink. You're still going to pay for killing my direwolf lady when you least expect it. Zack, zack. You wouldn't be saying that, would you? Can you imagine that? Except that, you know what? In that same situation, Arya would, I think. Which is just as well that these two gals find themselves in very different, circumstances. Okay, I said two things. Two things we infer. The second thing is that these thoughts, Sansa's thoughts, reveal to us is the limit of Sansa's cynicism. That's where it ends. You know, we're just about found out because she thinks the Tyrells are like super like top-notch people, man. These are just totally great people, you know. Yeah, they're just so generous and disinterested. The only people who are being decent to me, you know. She doesn't seem to see that they're also, for their own ends, using her as a pawn, you know, for their own schemes and games. Namely, the Game of Thrones, mainly. Which brings us to another flashback, because another sort of like flashback thought that she's having. Because Dontos, remember him, did tell her as much back in the God's Wood a few days ago. He said, look, gal, look, listen. The Tyrells, yeah, they're just basically another bunch of Lannisters, but with flowers. So, you know, you don't smell the something rotten about them. And all they're interested in is getting their claims on Winterfell, which is precisely what this arranged marriage with what's his name now, Willas, that's exactly what that marriage would give them. Yeah. To which Sansa remembers replied, oh, Dantos, so you really been quite the fool, aren't you? No wonder that's your job description right now. Why, you adorable, silly old drunkard. What about my brother Rob? Ha! Got you there, huh? Now, see, he's the heir to Winterfell. You're confused. Hey, and he's poised to live for many years to come, and absolutely no gruesome death as a result of a deception and backstabbing is going to befall him in any foreseeable future. Ha! So who's being naive now? Dantos. At which point she proceeded to pinch Dantos on a wine-stained cheek, affectionately calling him Doritos. Yeah. Okay, I'm slightly paraphrasing this dialogue, but that is a fact. The first time I typed Dantos, the spell check did correct it to Doritos. So there's that. Funny story. Ha. What does that say about my most frequent searches that I happen to type on this very keyboard where I also type the notes for these rambling commentaries? So what Dantos said back then in the Godswood does have merits, but in this case, as well as everything else, it's best to sort of sift what he was saying for Sansa's interest from what he was saying for his own bottom line. Because the fact that he was resolutely against the idea of Sansa fleeing to Highgarden while insisting for her to stick to the original plan does point to Dantos being more interested in his own benefit, whatever that may be, rather than Sansa's own safety. The original plan being, just so we don't forget, for Sansa to normally attend the wedding, like, cool as a cucumber, there's nothing out of the ordinary, wearing the silver hairnet on her head, the one with the black amethysts that Dantos gave her, claiming that it was a gift from his mother. I can't stress that enough. He really wants her to wear it for some reason or other. And then exploiting a moment when all guests will be distracted by some event or other, which Dantos seems to have a rather solid, certainty will happen. I'm not sure what that might be. Maybe some form of entertainment. I doubt. Why? Search me. No, you won't get a spoiler from me, okay? I told you. Anyway, so exploit the moment when all guests will be, occupied, busy, distracted by something, and to run away at that precise moment, run away with Dantos to the harbor, where a ship will be waiting, ready to take them away. That's, like it's total, high, literature, high fantasy kind of a trope. And do you know what? Actually, no, yes, but because George Martin being George Martin, it's not like it's not this knight in shiny armor that takes her to the ship that will take her away. It's the fool. It's the fool. And the first time I thought what Dantos was really after was how can I put it? Was what any old drunken pervert would be after under such circumstances. I mean, old as compared to Sansa. I thought that was it because I don't know this. I kept getting these creep vibes. What with Dantos always going all like, go on, give us a kiss on my wine-stained cheek and unshaved cheek. I'll be your savior knight. Ha ha ha. Say no more. And then we'll hop on that ship together, bound for the high seas. How does that sound? off to the Caribbean, sipping pina coladas and zombies and planter sponge. And what was that? Was that you say, Sansa? We'll have to share a cabin? You ask. Ooh, maybe. Yeah, that's what I thought. In so many words, that's what I thought Dontos' plan was. But no. He's probably just after the coin. Because someone is paying him for being, for all these services he's rendering. For now, I'll keep my mouth shut. But yeah, he's not completely disinterested. Just like everybody else, really. Tyrells, Lannisters, certainly. Anyone. So for now, anyway, Sansa has decided to stop going to the God's Woods. And there he comes again. Another literary critic. Hello there. He's decided, okay, now, look, Dontos, he's being useless right now. No. Look, I've got a better plan. Willas. And that's going to work out. Willas Tyrell. So I'm not going to the God's Wood anymore. Oh, really? Okay, well, see? Well, there you go. All right. Never again will I go to the God's Wood. I don't want to hear Dontos' drunken advice. From now on, I'll stick to the Sept. That's it. The Faith of the Seven. I'm going back to that. And I'll be lighting candles in the Sept. Just like my mom taught me. In fact, you know what? It's almost word for word mirroring Catelyn 1 in this same book. Because Catelyn 1 lights a candle to the Father above in Catelyn 1. And Sansa, right here, makes a mental note to light a candle to the Mother above. Yeah, for Marjorie. Mother of mercy. You don't know what awaits you, she's thinking. And from that, when you compare the two chapters, the mother and daughter go into two different directions. Catelyn lights a candle to the crone, and Sansa lights her second candle to the warrior, dedicating it to Loras. I'm being very geeky right now, aren't I? Bookwormish, shall we say? But yeah, that's what this channel is all about. But speaking of creep vibes, here's another thought that's going through Sansa's head right now. Is the day when the Hound stole a kiss from her. I want to mention that. Stole a kiss from her under duress. As we know. Hang on, I want to read this to you. Wait, bear with me. Just thank God for bookmarks. He'd come to her in the night of the battle, stinking of wine and blood. How charming. And he kissed me and threatened to kill me and made me sing him a song. Now, I don't remember where I read this, but or heard it, I don't know. But apparently George R.R. Martin said in an interview or a press conference or convention or something or other that Sansa's memory is faulty here and that the Hound never really kissed her. And Mr. Martin said that this little detail apparently will be important in the future. To what end? I can't really say at the moment. I have no idea. I keep thinking about it. Just like Sansa keeps thinking about the Hound. Which I don't know. Sounds like some sort of infatuation in the making. I don't know. As creepy as it sounds. She keeps going back to thinking about Sandor Clegane way too often. There must be something going on in her little head, in her young head, shall we say? She doesn't have a tiny head. Her head is the size of everyone else's head. But anyway, if you, dear listener, happen to have any insights, do let me know. Feel free to drop us a line. And why did I bring it up? The Hound's kiss. Because this whole kissy debate, whether it really happened or not, it's a Schrödinger kiss. It happened and it didn't happen. It happened and it didn't happen. And the reason why she thinks about it, let's not forget that hanging out with the Tyrells entails having the whole of Marjorie's entourage around her all day. All the girls these girls acting like super buddies to Sansa, which we imagine is happening under Tyrell's instructions. Just be her buddy. I don't just mean Facebook friends, like proper. Ooh, Sansa, we totally must exchange makeup and stuff. Teenage girls. I don't know. I cannot be in the mind of. But yeah, that's what they do. These gals. There's quite a few of them. We've been given some details about them. There's Marjorie's cousins for one. I wrote them down here. Eleanor, Alla, Mega. They're all described with their own distinct personalities and different ages as well. But sorry, for now I'll admit, in my mind, they're still practically interchangeable. And they're always going on. This is the kiss. Yeah, okay. So what's the connection with the kiss? They're always going on about childish fantasies of chivalry and romantic notions of heroic knights slaying hundreds of men and dedicating that bloodbath to them, and blah blah blah. And then in their own shallow way, they what else do they do? They keep playing a kissing game, as you do, which I don't know. Do you think that they do like? See, he doesn't go into details, and I'm glad he doesn't. Do they like do spin the bottle? Yeah, except that in this universe, Martin would find a clever way of renaming the game so it sounds archaic, but we can totally tell what it is. It's like when he does, when he mentioned peek and seek. It's okay, all right, well done there. Okay, I get it. It's hide and seek. All right, hello, ta-da. But and in this case. So it wouldn't be spin the bottle. It would be something like, oh yeah, come with us, Sansa. We're going to play rotate the carafe. Oh, you never heard of that? Oh, it's awesome. So we kiss each other and imagine how totally awesome it would be to be kissed by a real like a proper knight who's just got blood all over him after killing hundreds of people in your name. Wouldn't that be just totally awesome? And Sansa, she doesn't voice her, shall we call it, skepticism, but she goes, yeah, right. Yeah, awesome indeed. Whatever, mate. Tell you what, yeah. Reality isn't half as glamorous as your childish fantasy paint it. Take it from someone who's actually been kissed by a Kingsguard. Obviously, she's not saying any of that, but that's what she's thinking. And because she thinks, and this is the heartbreaking part in my and everyone's opinion, because she thinks these gals don't know nothing. These gals haven't got a clue. But here it comes. Are you ready to shed a tear? Sansa pitied them. Sansa envied them. Ha. Round of applause. Yeah, no, this is really good. And it works. It's been noted by other people. It's been remarked by other critics, commentarists, content creators, I guess you could call them, that this really works in that order. They wouldn't be the same. Sansa pitied them, but no, really, Sansa envied them. It wouldn't work if you reversed the order of those two sentences. It's that's how it really gets you, doesn't it? Right here, where the old ticker is pounding. Anyway, so better focus on the present, she thinks. So to recap, okay, right, let's focus, yeah, all right? I'll marry this Willis guy, and I'd better stop fantasizing about his younger brother, Laura's, because he's out of bounds. And we'll be in Highgarden, and it'll be awesome, and we'll have lots of children with names like Brandon, Eddard, Rickon, and so on, and I'll raise them like proper northern kids, all, educated and indoctrinated in both old and new faith, gods, after my father and mother, and they will all be indoctrinated and raised in a good old healthy hatred for any Lannister. There. See, she still needs to, this is very human. She still needs to tell herself that she has something to look forward to. Makes perfect sense. And so anyway, there she is, being measured for a new gown. And I keep coming back to that. It's a leitmotif of this chapter. And she's asking, okay, but listen, lovely thought, thank you, all right, yeah. Very, very thoughtful of Cersei to commission this gown for me, but what's it for? Is it for the wedding? And as I said, the seamstress is all coy. Maybe. Can you at least tell me what color it will be? And she's like, oh dear. Leave the color to me, love. You see, because the color would give away the purpose of this gown. And the seamstress knows better than spilling the beans on that. So if you tell them this is the color, that's going to be the color. That somehow will also reveal what the gown is for. And sorry, I'm bound to secrecy. I'm not going to reveal really what the gown is for. And the seamstress knows how to keep quiet on certain details if those were indeed her instructions from Cersei. And also, if I may, on a concluding note, I couldn't help but notice, and I know it takes a nerd of a social linguist like yours truly to notice that, but color is spelled the American way. And I know I said it before, but I find it interesting. Sue me, take me to court. I find it interesting because this is a world, a universe, where foods, for example, produce, originally from the American continent are not available here, apparently. And I know that because I love all those food descriptions, variously described as food porn by other readers. So I always pay attention. Whenever I come across food description, I pay attention to that. And it's always proper medieval European dishes, in all their weirdness. But no sweet corn or maize, because I think that the corn ravens keep demanding is something else. It's the European native corn, but not the actual sweet corn or the cob. You know the one I'm talking about. And no potatoes or tomatoes either. I know that. I have not come across any of those. Unlike in Tolkien's world, Lord of the Rings, potatoes and tomatoes everywhere. Wall to wall, potatoes and tomatoes. And potatoes, tomatoes, whatever. And but okay, so why am I remarking all that? Because so no food from the American continent is available, and yet the spelling of some words somehow conforms to the spelling devised by American lexicographer Noah Webster, who's the guy responsible for removing all those U letters, the letter U for all words, from all words ending in OUR. That's what I was told. I don't know. Do you know, I never actually double checked. So I think that's the story. That's why you have these words on the Merriam-Webster American Dictionary. I might be wrong. I don't know. I'll have to. Do you know what? There's another thing that I'm going to research. But I know for a fact that, harbor, color, in this book, they're all spelled honor. Yeah, they're all spelled that way, without the U before the final letter R. And on this fascinating, super exciting note, we conclude the chapter with Sansa thinking, I better light a few candles in the set, just for good measure. You know what I mean? And that's our Sansa II, Sansa II, from ASOS. From ASOI, I'm a terrible speller, by the way. Since we're still talking about spelling, I'm sorry. But yeah, good, dear listener, good job sticking with me, having the patience to, follow me up to this point. I mean, I'm impressed. Thank you, first of all, for keeping me company. I hope I kept you company pleasantly. And if you like this sort of content, don't forget to and do the things that people do when they like any content. Yeah? Does that sound reasonable? Like I think you might want to do? And if that's the case, there's more. If you enjoy this content, there's more. Hell, yeah, there's a whole bunch of commentaries on this very channel. So enjoy, feel free, explore, and I shall see you real soon. Ciao.